We have so many different kinds of hungers, and sometimes our physical hunger carries a hidden message. For instance, if we are always craving sweet things, we are craving joy. If we are craving savory food, we are craving safety.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about just physical hunger. It's not that superficial. We are not superficial beings. Anyway, we have limitless depth. So everything has a layered messaging underneath. If we are willing to give ourselves enough time to go through the layers.
Welcome back to PCOS Unfiltered, where we ditch the one-size-fits-all advice. I'm Lindsie, nurse turned health coach, author of Healing Beyond the Diagnosis, and mindful eating advocate. Here, I help you understand the messages behind your symptoms. Now, before we get into today's guest, I wanted to let you all know that I'm looking for 10 ladies to help me uplevel my offerings so I can better serve you and get you the results you desire. Be sure to check the show notes for the link to book a quick call with me and grab your freebie. Today, my guest is Anni Eza. Anni is a master healer and mental health specialist, shadow priestess, ego death doula, teacher, and co-founder of Seeds of Bliss. After over 10,000 healing sessions and certifications in 10 plus modalities, she created Awakening the Seeds, a deep process guiding people to remember who they are beneath fear, conditioning, and survival patterns. Her work lives in the space between life and death, light and darkness, helping others hold both with skill. Anni believes true healing comes when we stop running from the shadow and listen to it, embracing transformation, leadership, creativity, and human evolution. Be sure to check the show notes for details on our upcoming workshop on June 6th. As always, the content shared on PCOS Unfiltered is for informational and educational purposes only. The views and opinions expressed by the host and guests are not intended to serve as medical advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or treatment plan. The information shared is based on personal experience and expert interviews and is not a substitute for professional medical guidance. Now, settle in, maybe get ready to take some notes, and let's do this. Here's my conversation with Anni Eza. Welcome back to PCOS Unfiltered, and welcome back to Anni with Seeds of Bliss. She's been a guest on the show before, but her and I have actually been working together even more behind the scenes since we first met. So, yeah, let's kind of start there, I guess, and talk about, our collaboration, and we can get into, why we're doing it, and then, talk a little bit about what we have coming up. But uh, when Anni, gosh, was it in one of my Facebook posts, I think?
Yeah.
I've had so many guests like from all over, but I'd posted in a couple Facebook podcast groups and Anni had reached out and we just hit it off. And I feel like we have just this synergy between what I do and, the nutrition side, the more clinical side of things. And she brings in more of the mental health, aspect of it and traumas and past experiences. And we'll get into all that. Um, but yeah, so we decided to start working together on some other things besides just, on a podcast episode. And it's been amazing. And we have some other stuff coming up next month in June. So yeah, Anni, you want to kind of tell everybody again what you do, who you are, why you do it, all that good stuff.
Yes. Okay. Okay. This is Anni Eza of Seeds of Bliss. Seeds of Bliss is a global movement about seasonal capacity recalibration in every aspect of our lives. And when we are talking about recalibration, it's all about following your own capacity without pushing through your life. And it's not about being lazy. It's not about being a quitter. It's not about falling behind. It's about honoring your productivity in every possible way. Rest and replenishment included. Because guess what? You're not a machine.
Yeah.
You're a human being and you're cyclical. You have your own seasons. Nothing in nature blooms all year long. So why should you?
Yeah. Very true. And we, right, we used to honor those seasons way back when. But now with our lives the way they are, we don't follow that, right? And it could be, and when you say seasons, you could mean the traditional, right? Spring, summer, fall, winter, but we also have different seasons of life,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
There are seasons within the seasons within the seasons within the
Mhm.
seasons. We have the four seasons, of course, of the year, but we have our own emotional seasons, especially when we are talking about women, because they have their menstrual cycle and it's all
Mhm.
about hormones and changing. So you have different seasons within the same month,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you have bigger seasons. When you're a toddler, it's a different season. When you're a child, when you're an adolescent, when you're a young adult, when you're after your 40s, is a different season.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Trust me, I know about that one. Yeah, I mean, and then of course, like the traumas play a role in there too, right? When you're processing, grief or maybe a happy time, maybe you're getting married or having a baby, trying to have a baby, right? Those are all other kind of seasons within there too.
Yeah, of course, cycles.
Yeah.
Cycles are all over our lives, and we
Hmm.
have neglected them so much. And the interesting thing is that they are interconnected too, because my grandma used to say that there is no funeral without laughter and no wedding without tears. So
Hmm.
even though you're so happy, you could think of somebody that is not there for you. Maybe they're gone, maybe they have passed, and they were very important in your life. And you could feel sadness within your joy. And even though you're experiencing a tremendous loss and a huge amount of grief and sorrow, you might recall a happy moment with the loved one that is not in your life anymore because you got separated, divorced, you're not talking to each other anymore, or they have passed. And all of a sudden, within your grief, you experience a very strange kind of joy and gratitude, which is not expected most of the
Hmm.
time.
No, no. So we have our workshop coming up called Trust Your Hunger. I see that, that look on your face. Um, yeah, it's super exciting, right? I again like just I believe and it's taken me a little while to kind of figure it out, but the more I dive deeper into my coaching and actually helping someone change their lifestyle. It's not just a quick fix for me and with my clients. I realize how important it is, the emotional side of things and the emotional ties to things, how they've processed their life, right? Like everything in their, throughout their life, even some things we don't even really realize, at the time. And that was kind of where Trust Your Hunger was born. Because there's so many things happening in our world today, and we're not honoring those seasons, and we're pulled in every which direction. And again, when it comes to women, if you're trying to lose weight, just trying to be healthy, there's all these restrictions and diets and supplements and exercise, 2 hours every day, right? Like you're being told so many different things, but my overarching message, for anybody, whether they know me from the podcast, social media, or any of my clients, is we have to start listening to our bodies, right? We have to start trusting our bodies because they're talking to us.
in
they're
so many ways.
yes, yes, yeah. Um, so, what do you see? I mean, as far as like diet culture and, and everything, I mean, oh yeah.
Diet is like, if you have watched the Harry Potter movies, diet is my Voldemort, my own personal Voldemort. We do not pronounce that word anymore in the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, right? Diet used to refer to more of like what we ate, what a culture ate,
Yep,
but now it's turned into this term whenever we hear diet, we think restriction, some type of plan for a certain amount of time. Um, and yeah, and that's part of what we're doing, right? Is getting the message out that
exactly.
that doesn't
You
work.
get,
That doesn't,
yeah,
you know.
punishment has never been working for anyone. And
Mm-mm.
diet in the Western world is more like punishment because you feel hunger, and you feel hunger because you're alive. So you're punished for your aliveness. And it's not only through food, it's happening in so many ways. You're punished for your aliveness in so many different ways. One of them is because you're hungry. And you get rewarded when you ignore your hunger. When you're ignoring your needs, you get rewarded.
Mm.
And you get a reward that you cannot use because you are ignoring your needs. So you cannot fulfill yourself in any possible way. You get a reward which is more like a trophy, which you can put on the shelf,
Mhm.
that has no value, no real value, because it's not usable in your everyday life.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not life changing.
So you have shared before, you've had some childhood experiences that have, yeah,
Around food.
yes.
Yes, yes, of
So you want to,
course.
yeah, you want to share. I guess I say you shared before, but it was more when we had the workshop and the master class before. But yeah, do you want to share like one of your, you know, the one that
First of
sticks out to
all,
me, of course. Mhm.
for those of you that you don't know me at all, I come from Greece. We are very loud, Mediterranean, temperamented people. We talk aloud, we laugh out loud, and we love eating. We share our food and our table with the ones we love. And it's also a form of expressing your love to others. Like you're literally nourishing your loved ones through your cooking, through sharing food with them. But sometimes it's like too much, over the top. And we have a weird culture around food because the the previous generations, I mean, my grandma was alive in the Second World War, and they experienced famine. People were dying because they were starving. So this was a collective trauma, and food became the new wealth for those generations. And they were feeding their kids and their grandkids like crazy. So you were not allowed to not consume the entire plate of food you were offered.
Mhm.
You had to clean your plate. And we have also sayings around this, like you leave food on the plate, you leave your power, your strength behind.
Mm.
Can you imagine the damage this conditioning
Yeah.
can can create? And although you're being told as a kid, like you should clean your plate, Then you become an adolescent or a young woman, and all of a sudden you have to be thin and ignore your hunger. And you're experiencing a major inner conflict, and you do not know which side of the conditioning to obey. So you have the yo-yo effect.
Yeah.
You gain weight, you lose weight. You gain weight because your grandma said so. You lose weight because you have to be sexy and thin and beautiful. And you're tortured throughout your life instead
Yeah.
of enjoying food because it's a human need.
Yeah. And that all of that just puts more stress on the body too, right? Like, I mean, I even, like I tell my clients to stay off the freaking scale because they're doing things that are helping their body, but it may not, you know, we're not measured by the scale. We're measured by maybe how our skin is clearing up, our energy, regulating our cycles, like that type of thing. But when you focus so much on the scale, the those stress hormones, spike. And it's the same thing too when you're dieting and your hormones and I say not just reproductive hormones, your stress hormones are going crazy because they're like, what are you doing to me? Like I'm supposed to, be in a calm state.
Yeah.
And then that just prevents more weight loss or prevents, whatever the person is actually trying to achieve a lot of times.
I have experienced myself periods of severe anxiety and burnout in my life, in my early adulthood. And I was gaining weight, although I wasn't eating almost anything because I was working all day long. I was sleep deprived. I was super tired. I wasn't eating well. I wasn't eating at all, almost. And I was gaining weight. Not too much weight, but I was gaining weight without eating. Can you imagine? This is what stress, also known as cortisol, if we're talking hormones, does to your body.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's very relatable, right? I'm sure you're not the only one out there, that has experienced something like that. And then, when you do kind of come out of that though, unfortunately, sometimes we don't cycle that off, right? And sometimes year after year along, going with those seasons like we were talking about in the beginning, yes, like we are kind of meant to cycle fat off and on, weight off and on, but unfortunately we don't anymore.
We carry guilt
Hmm.
around our weight, our age, and everything around our physical appearance. You should stay young, thin. You should be super fit and have a six pack, even though you might be not healthy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and it's, like I personally, I think I'm the strongest I've ever been.
Mhm.
But I'm also like probably at the highest weight, which I don't, trust me, I do not weigh myself regularly, but I also know like my clothes don't really fit differently. Um, and I'm fine with that. But like, yeah, so it takes people a while though to get to that point too, to realize like I can still do all these things and I may not look a certain way, like all these influencers, right, on social media that we see that that's their life and that's everything that consumes them. Um, but I appreciate what my body can do so much more than anything. So,
It's keeping you alive,
yeah, yeah.
and you get to live a real life, which is cool. This
Hmm.
is the new cool. I want to see influencers with real lives,
Yeah.
with real bodies, not
Hmm.
photoshopped and not starved,
No.
with no Botox, with no
Yeah.
fillers, just natural, normal people.
Yeah. Yeah. we're all made so differently, right? We need
Yeah,
to honor that. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
We should honor our body because it's our home for this incarnation, for this life.
Yeah.
And you cannot buy or get another one.
Mhm.
You have to stay in it. So if you destroy it, well, it's not so good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Health is, you really need health before anything else. And unfortunately for a lot of people, a lot of women, it kind of takes that breakdown in health to have that like light bulb moment, to realize that. And I was that woman. I will admit that. you know, so maybe that's a good thing in a way. Um, but if we can even get the message out even sooner, that, that prioritizing your health should really be, you know, number one, so that you can be the person and do all the things to live your life.
Without your health, you can't live your life anyway.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you're not here to be tortured and pay bills and die. You're here to enjoy yourself and
Hmm.
learn a few profound lessons in the process.
Yeah.
So we have to honor all our parts:
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
body, the mind, the nervous system, the trauma, the emotions. Everything is so magnificent if we
Hmm.
approach it with curiosity. And our hunger is the same, it carries a message, and
Yeah.
we shouldn't overlook our body's language.
Hmm.
It's very important. Maybe we get hungry. For instance, I know I get hungry when I do not consume enough nutrients, when I'm not eating well, or when I'm not well rested. If I haven't slept enough, then the next day I feel hungry all day long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Again, your body's always talking to you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's a good point because we talk about that during the workshop and into our master class, these different hungers and different signals, right? From these hungers. And so even when we say hunger, you might think the physical hunger, but
No.
yes, you want to elaborate a little bit more on that.
We have so many different kinds of hungers, and sometimes our physical hunger carries a hidden message. For instance, if we are always craving sweet things, we are craving joy. If we are craving savory food, we are craving safety.
Mhm.
So it's not about just physical hunger. It's not that superficial. We are not superficial beings. Anyway, we have limitless depth. So everything has a layered messaging underneath. If we are willing to give ourselves enough time to go through the layers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's where, those past childhood experiences, right? Past, I don't like I don't know what you think about it, but if you even use it, but, some people say like the big T trauma, I'm like, it's either way, it's an experience, it's trauma, it's how each person processes it differently and how that plays a role in these hungers, even later in life.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. And personally, I do not know any human being that is a grown adult and carries no trauma. The first trauma we get to experience, anyway, is the realization as babies that we are a separate being from our mother.
Hmm.
So, good luck with staying untraumatized.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are traumatized, we are fragmented, and our job is to bring those fragments back and reclaim them in order to become the more complete we can become in this lifetime. And this includes everything: The more we do the inner work, the more we change our relationship with ourselves, our body, our hunger. And yes, we have experienced trauma and conditioning, family conditioning, societal conditioning, but we don't have to stay in the place of victim for our entire life.
Mm.
I was always rewarded for eating my whole plate because my sister was difficult with food. But it was running my life from the backstage for some years. But doing the inner work, doing my healing, helped me understand that, hey, those choices that you're making are orchestrated by that part of yourself that was conditioned to be acknowledged, rewarded, because you were eating food you weren't needing. So now you get to choose differently.
Yeah.
We always have a choice. And the different choice is not starving myself, just to be clear on that.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. I mean, yeah, and everybody is so different. Like, so I don't remember if I've asked you this before. Have you heard of human design? I think
Yeah.
yeah. I had somebody on that had talked about that at one point, but whether it's you kind of relate to that or not, but basically we all have these, preferences and like for me, I will eat meat, but like I'm not a huge meat eater, and like diving into human design, or like I said, whether it's that or just doing some inner work, to say it's okay that I'm not a huge meat eater like people tell you should be. That's fine because we're all so different. So like I even remember one of my like biggest childhood experiences with food was my mom used to make a pot roast, like in the slow cooker, and she'd put potatoes and carrots and stuff, of course, in there all day, and we'd have it. I absolutely hated it. I hated it. Like it just did not taste good to me. I don't know if maybe a little bit of texture. It just did not. But I had to sit there and eat it. And like I even remember to this day, like almost like gagging on it. And so even, whether, you know, if you have children maybe and you're listening and, start thinking about that, like that's okay that that we have each person is different and we have our own certain, preferences for things. And yes, we still want to, it doesn't mean I can go, crazy on like pasta or anything like that. You still want to be conscious of the good stuff, but honoring that everybody's different and has different tastes and different preferences and that's okay instead of forcing a child or, anybody to consume something like that because that is obviously imprinted in me, you know, years later. And that was, of course, a good meal. That was a good, like, hearty, whole food, type meal. But I still to this day just think of that experience. I think, being forced to eat something that I just absolutely did not like.
It's not pleasant for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate. Even we have even different preferences throughout different seasons. For instance, you
Mhm.
mentioned meat. I was eating more meat when I was younger. Now I do not like it so much. I am not eating pork at all. It's not, it's heavy for my stomach, for my body.
Mhm.
It makes me feel heavy. And I tend to consume more meat during the colder parts of the year with winter and autumn. And as the weather gets hotter, I reduce meat consumption. In the
Mhm.
winter, I prefer warm food. And in the summer, I prefer almost uncooked food, salads, fruit, raw food,
Yeah.
full
Yeah.
of juice
Mm-hmm.
which I feel is very nourishing for me this
Yeah.
period of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's, again, going back to the talk about seasons, because I've done the vegetarian, vegan thing before too. Like, because I just felt like in that time, I think I did it for a couple of years. I just felt like that's what my body needed. Like
Mm,
I've just learned to listen to my body more, primarily over these past, whatever it is, like 6 years now, when I discovered I had the gluten intolerance and stuff. But it's made me so much more in tune with truly what my body is telling me and what my body desires, and especially around food, right? So yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the big takeaways right here is, start trusting your hunger, right? Start
exactly.
start trusting your body. If something doesn't sound good, it's okay. Like, then find something else, that still nourishes you, um, that you feel like more satisfied by around food and satisfied in life.
Exactly. Because feeling satisfied and letting yourself get satisfied is a skill.
Mhm. Yeah. And I feel like the willpower conversation needs to come into this too, because, this is again where those past experiences, learning to trust your body, I think is important, because there's that, like, I don't know, I feel like even one of my recent clients kind of said it to me. She's like, "Oh, it's all about willpower." And I was like, "Not really." You know, and I feel like,
It's not.
yeah, we're seeing it probably on social media and other outlets or whatever, but it's really not. Like, that might be what's coming across, but yeah, it's really not, because there's so much more at play here
Exactly.
besides, yeah.
The willpower is a form of endurance in our work. You're pushing
Mm-hmm.
through your conditioning, through your trauma, and everything is unprocessed, and you're pushing through, hoping that you will get on the other end of the tunnel, that the next time you will be right at the beginning again, and you have to push through all the way along. This
Yeah.
is willpower.
Yeah.
It doesn't worth it. Too much
Mm-mm.
energy.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, that's the, start over every Monday mentality, right? Or, next month or whatever it is. Yeah, that's when you have a willpower issue, I feel like.
Yeah. And those people think that they can resolve everything using their willpower and their mindset.
Mhm. Yeah.
If your mind is really, and your mindset is really orchestrating your life, then why don't you have everything you want right here, right now?
Hmm.
Why do you have financial issues, health issues? Why are you struggling to lose weight?
Hmm.
If everything is about willpower and mindset,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't work. No, no. And that's the big, like, when you start changing your mindset maybe that's not the right word, but um, to see all of these things happening in your body as messages, as signals, I think that, that can go a long way. When
Sure.
you're, instead of fighting against it, right, you're working with it, and you start kind of understanding what's going on, and then you can work with it to actually accomplish what you want.
Yeah. And approach the signals with curiosity. It's not about performing. It's not about doing it the perfect way from the
Hmm.
first time. It's
Hmm.
about experimenting and building a communication channel with your own fucking body.
Yeah.
Without it, you're dead.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
You need it.
Yes. Yes. As we kind of start wrapping up, anything that you feel like needs to be talked about?
Yeah. One key takeaway. You're hungry because you're alive. Being hungry is a good thing. When we are sick, when we're not feeling well, we lose this hunger sensation.
Mhm.
So being hungry means that you're healthy. Honor it.
I love that. And again, pointing out not just a hunger for food, a hunger for life.
Food is life, after all, isn't
Yes.
it? Without
Yes.
it, we're dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, love this conversation. I think that's a good way to kind of wrap it up. Um, so yeah, we will put the link for our next workshop coming up, June 6th.
Yep.
I had to think about that myself. But we'll put all the details in there as well for you. It just is an hour long. Lots of good information. We've gotten a lot of good feedback from last time we did it. So definitely check it out. I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to hopefully meeting some new faces. Um, so yeah, anything else you'd like to add there? Mm.
Nothing other than I will see you in the workshop.
Love it. Well, thank you so, so much for being here again. I'm sure we'll
Thank you for having me.
more to come. Yeah, and we'll see you next time. I always love speaking with Annie and hearing her perspective on things. I'll be sure to link everything in the show notes if you'd like to connect with her, in addition to how to book a quick call with me, so I can be sure I am offering the programs and events that align with what you desire, along with the opportunity to grab your mindful eating guide. And also, the details for our upcoming workshop will be in the notes. If you love this episode, make sure to subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because healing doesn't come from doing more, it comes from understanding better. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you on the next episode of PCOS Unfiltered. Nourish, heal, thrive.